Don't stop.
Hi, thanks very much for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randles-Friedman. I just got back from Florida. I spent 4 or 5 days there. I will tell you that I will not be going back to Florida anytime soon, even though I grew up in Miami area. I'm never going. I don't like that state anymore. The people there are just like not for me anymore. It's not my people I grew up with. And the state hates LGBTQ plus people. They're worried about rainbow crosswalks and removing those. And I just I felt horrible even spending $1 in that state. So I'm not planning on going back. Plus, I went to Florida because I'm like, oh, I'll go to Florida in January, February when it's freezing here. And it was perfect timing because we got like 20 to 24 inches of snow 2 days before I left for Florida in Boston. And then I get to Florida and the low temperature one night was 24 degrees Fahrenheit. So I wasn't escaping the cold. I was escaping the snow. But like the fountain in front of our hotel was like frozen with ice because it was just so cold. And I don't know, I didn't pack good enough. I should have brought a long puffy coat to wear in Florida, but instead I bought a lighter jacket and a couple of sweaters that weren't heavy enough for 24-degree weather. And the wind was just blowing and blowing, and it just made the wind chill. So it felt like it was like 10 degrees at some points. Like it was just way too cold. While I was there, I also just I go on a trip with my friend. Every year we go on one trip, sometimes 2 trips. Last year we went to London and Paris together. This year we downgraded and went to Orlando, so we really screwed that up. And, as I was coming back, I was just kind of thinking about, when I was going home on the plane that morning, I was just kind of thinking about like all the stuff we did on our trip. And, we had fun together. But I also kind of like reflected on like how much time we spent on our phones. Like I took this trip and I said, I'm not going to go on my phone to look at news. So every time New York Times or CNN notification popped up on my phone, I just closed it. I ignored it. I could not escape my Instagram because that's part of my podcast and part of my world now, and I just have to do that. And I just can't get away from Instagram. My emails, I kind of couldn't get away from my emails either. And even I was on Wordle, doing Wordle. I don't know. I feel like I'm on my phone so much and I just need to like put it down, and it's so bad. And, I complained and have talked about before when I go on trips with friends, like when I went to P-Town last year with friends, how we were all sitting at a dinner table and there was 9 people on their phone on Grindr and doing apps and stuff and sniffies or whatever. And I'm sitting there not on those things because I'm not on those apps. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like all of these people are from different parts of the country, or we don't live in the same city. Why aren't we all sitting here like talking and making memories? Why are we all on our phones? And then I turn around and I kind of do the same thing when I go on a trip. I mean, I wasn't on Sniffies and Grindr, but I was on my phone just like constantly checking Instagram, answering text about my podcast, looking at emails, putting together a list of my notes about things I need to do when I get back. I did not unwind at all during this trip. I did do an amazing massage on my last day in Orlando. Way too expensive for 80-minute massage, but it was at a very nice hotel. It was amazing. And this guy, he knew what the pain was. I told him I had a pain in my right arm, shoulder. I slept on it wrong or something. He knew exactly where to go. I didn't have to show him or point it out. He got rid of the pain. I told him I walked like 15 miles the last 2 days. And he went right for my lower back, got my shoulders. My shoulders are always like concrete because they're always so stiff. And he knew right where to go. I wish if I was a multi-millionaire, I would hire this guy to be just my masseuse like every day. Every day after work, I guess if I was a multi-millionaire, a billionaire, I wouldn't be working so much, but I would have him give me a massage every day because that's what I need in my life. I need a massage every day because this guy was so good and he could like read where your pain is in your body and just like he just got rid of it. So the trip to Florida was worth it just for that massage, I guess, and to hang out with my friend and to see my friend. But other than that, Florida just isn't for me. They're just too worried about how they can destroy LGBTQ plus communities' lives and erasing crosswalks, pride crosswalks, and things like that. And I just don't want to give my money to a state like that anymore. So bye, Florida. Won't see you again for a long time, at least until you get a new governor. But let's get into my guest today because this was one of my dream guests. I have a list of guests. I have a guy that kind of does advising for me, like helps me guide me. He works with a lot of influencers and podcasters, and he is just like a great sounding board and tells me when I'm doing something right or wrong with my podcast. And he's amazing. And one of the tasks he gave me is to write down 10 people you would want to interview. And I came back the next session that we had, and he's like, yeah, this list is weak. You're holding back. I want you to come back with a list of people that you want to interview that you're embarrassed to even say out loud. So, and I want you to come up with more than 10. So I went back, I wrote down my list of people. I had some of the typical people, if you're a listener of my show who I love, Madonna, I would love, even though I think I'd be very intimidated to interview her, I would still love to, but I'd want to do it one-on-one at her house. And then she's like, okay, stay for lunch. And then she's like, okay, we'll just stay for dinner and then stay the night. Like, I want to be her friend. But I have other people that I would love, love, love to interview. And I actually got to interview one of the people that were on my list this week, and you're going to hear his podcast today. He is multi-talented. So he's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's an actor, he is a radio host, a radio co-host. He's a writer. I mean, just talent oozing out of him. The other thing is that he is so fucking good looking, and I'm not sure if he knows how good looking he is. Maybe he does, but he doesn't act cocky or anything like that. And the other thing that I really loved about him is that I do podcast interviews sometimes, and this doesn't happen so often, but I forget I'm on the podcast. I'm having a conversation with somebody, and I completely just forget that I'm supposed to be asking questions because it's just a conversation. And that is how I felt today about the interview you're going to hear. That's how I felt when I was doing the interview. It was just such a good conversation, and he is so genuinely nice. Like, who he is on the radio and who you'll hear on my podcast is who I think he is in real life. He's nice, he's genuine, again, talented, and super amazingly good looking, and I felt so honored to interview John Hill. So if you are a gay man and you don't know who John Hill is, then shame on you. You should be following him on Instagram, and you should be going to the description of this video or podcast and following him right away because he does funny, amazing posts. Also, he is co-host with Andy Cohen, Radio Andy, and they talk about more than housewives. So if you're not a housewife fan, they have real good conversations just about, the gay community and sniffies and Grindr and their lives. But John Hill has his own show where he really kind of exposes who he really is. And he had on Benjamin Smith, who I interviewed, I guess it's been a month or so more. And Benjamin Smith is the real estate guy that lives in Boston that does tours and wears 3 layers of foundation, he says, and he's just super fabulous. And he interviewed him also. So we talked about Benjamin in the interview. And yeah, I don't know. I just again forgot I was on a podcast talking to a guest because I didn't really have to look at I don't usually write down questions. I wrote down a few talking points for John before the podcast, but I really just knew what I wanted to talk with him about. And he There was no awkward pauses. He was just an amazing interview, and he's just an amazing guy. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I got to interview somebody like John. So I hope you enjoyed listening to the interview as much as I did performing the interview, because John is amazing. And you'll hear all about him, and follow him on Instagram and go listen to his show. If you don't have SiriusXM radio, that is a reason to get it, because you want to listen to him on Radio Andy. Enjoy John Hill. Thanks for listening. Hi, welcome to the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today's guest is someone who truly does it all. He's a singer, songwriter, radio host, performer, pop culture personality, and yes, let's just say it, he's pretty fucking good looking. John Hill has built a career that doesn't just fit neatly in one box, from his roots in music and theater to becoming a stand-out voice on SiriusXM's Radio Andy. John has carved out a lane that blends talent, wit, vulnerability, and authenticity. He's someone who can hold a stage with a microphone in his hand and command live radio in real time. So we're going to get into all this today and learn more about John. So welcome to the show, John. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. That was the best intro. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you have so
nice.
much talent. And, you know, I know about your talent because I follow you on all social media, and I've listened to your radio show and watch you on YouTube. And I just want to say one thing. Your Threads comment that you put out yesterday was iconic. It was basically like, I'm not going to rage any longer on Thread. Mm-hmm. I'm going to focus on compassion and love, and Kristi Noem is a cunt. And I loved it.
Well, that was a very authentic thread, because I am trying to do less rage engagement. You know, I do want to put out, it started out, I was being honest. Like, I'm not going to fuel this anymore. I'm not going to spew rage. I'm taking the bait from these bots and stuff. And then at the last minute it was like, but also I just want to say about Miss Noem, you know, I can't not.
Yeah. I want to kind of just like ask you, you are so well known now. You're
Am
living
I?
in Yes, of course. I told a couple of people who are not necessarily Andy Cohen Bravo fans, and they knew exactly who you were. Like,
wow.
I think do you not think that you're well known and famous now?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I sit with someone who is so famous, and I do feel pretty known. I mean, listen, if you have SiriusXM, I think most people who listen to Radio Andy know who I am. But you know, there's a lot of people early on in the Broadway days when I did Broadway shows. A lot of those people know me, so I'm known in little pockets, little niches know me. So collectively, I guess I'm sort of well known, but I wouldn't say I'm famous or anything like that.
No, I think you are. I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. I have a straight guy friend and told him about you, and he's like, "Oh yeah, John Hill, I know who he is."
Get out of here.
Even the straight, white guys know who you are. So
I do like getting a straight comment. I sometimes get a DM from a straight guy who listens to some radio show or something, and that always blows my mind because I'm so gay.
But do you feel that whenever people like the gay community, you just moved back from LA to New York last year, right? And unfortunately your apartment had a fire, right?
The building right next door to where I'm sitting right now, I share a wall with a laundromat, and that laundromat burnt to the ground on Thanksgiving night. I had been here a month, and I dealt with it. I rolled with the punches. I didn't freak out. I mean, I freaked out a little bit when I came back. I wasn't here when the fire broke out, so I came back, and the place was like destroyed. Not destroyed compared to the building that burnt down, but smoke damage. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. So it took a couple of months. It was a bumpy re-entry to New York, is what I say.
Yeah. And now that you're kind of back in New York, and I lived in New York for like 17 years, so like I know it well. And I live in Boston now, and it's not New York. So,
I love Boston.
I love Boston too, but the gays here are not super friendly, which
really? Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. They're just not. They're all in these little cliques. I feel like a lot of them like never left Massachusetts. Maybe they left for college and came back, but they had the same friends and they never left. And I don't know, like I feel like I can walk into a bar in New York City and like walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, let's hang out and do a shot together or whatever." Or
Sure.
and then you walk out of a bar and you have like 25 new best friends. Just like I just felt
Totally.
like New York was so much easier.
Yeah. 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 I don't know how I would do living in Boston. I think if I had to live in another American city, it would be Boston, though.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the guys here are hot, and then it's a great city, and it's liberal, and but it's
you're
not New
closer to
York.
P-town.
Yes, you can get on the ferry, and you're in P-town in 90 minutes, so that's
Yeah.
amazing in the summer. So,
I have a couple of shows in P-town this summer. Come see it.
oh, when do you have the date yet?
I do, but I'm forgetting them. I think
Okay.
I'm doing 2 shows twice in the summer. So the first 2 is July, I want to
Okay.
say like 15th-ish. And then the next is in August sometime. I'll get you the dates.
Okay, cool, awesome, and I'll put it in the description of this video or podcast if you're watching.
Thank you.
So now that you're back in New York, what do you feel like whenever, I'm sure you get a lot of attention when you go out and do anything. Do you feel like gay guys feel like that they, or anybody really feel like that they know you because you're on the radio and they probably follow you on social and they feel like they're your friend because they, do you get that sometimes from guys?
Yeah, I don't know about guys. Yeah, sometimes. I think what happens is because we're on the radio and we're just talking about our personal lives,
Yeah.
anybody who listens automatically thinks that we're their friend. And at first that was a little uncomfortable, but now I'm grateful for it. If somebody comes up to me in particular and says hello or something, it means that they know things about me that I'm glad they know, that are sensitive or not. Like the things we share are personal in a good way, something you'd want a good friend to know, and vulnerable. So if people take the trouble, they're not coming up to like give me shit. They're coming up to say like thank you, or I relate to this from this way, and I appreciated what you said. Like it's always, for knock on wood, for the most part, been really nice. But yes, there is that, and I'm the same way when I listen to podcasts and stuff. When I see that person, I feel like they've talked to me as their good friend.
Yeah.
So I think that's specific to podcasters and radio people. You're in their ear, and we're on every day live.
Yeah.
Andy and I in the morning. And so every single day we're giving a recap of what's happening. So for 10 years, so people have been getting these snippets of our lives every day. So yeah, I mean, I wish, first of all, I don't go out a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I do go out, though, it's usually something I've been invited to that I want to show up for, either to support something I like a show that I want to support or see and talk about on the radio, or a cause or whatever. And in that case, I've been invited for a reason, but I'm not really like wandering into bars and stuff much. I go to sleep real early. But on the occasion I am out and about, I don't get like accosted or anything, but every now and then someone will come up and say, like I had somebody come up to me on the street the other day and say how much this play I was in 2005 meant to them when they were coming out in high school.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll take it. It's great.
Yeah. Are you glad to be back in New York? It sounds like you are when I listen to you on the radio.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be back. And I think that, the building burning down, and I had a friend pass away the same month, and it got cold and all these things. I think if I were going to regret it, it would have been by now. And in spite of the cold and in spite of smelling like smoke for 2 months and in spite of moving from perfect weather to this weather and a great apartment that was half this price to this place is double the price and, very, very small, I'm still so happy to be here. So I think that is proof that it was the right move.
Yeah, awesome. And it's don't you think it's nicer with you and Andy together in the studio, together in person? It feels like you guys had a connection even when you were living in California, but there's something definitely about you guys being together. You can feel it more.
I can't even, so much. It was fine to do the show in LA, but it was 7 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. his time. We're just in not only two different cities, but two different mindsets at 7 a.m. When he comes on the radio at 10 a.m., he's got the kids to school. He's kind of had a day to have like he's starting he's had some frustrations, he's had some news come in. I'm just waking up and trying to stay
Yeah.
positive for the day, and the moods weren't matching up, I think. But in
Yeah.
person now we're on the same like energetic level.
Yeah. Do you get tired of people kind of saying, "Oh, you and Andy should be together. You guys should get together again"? Like, do you get tired of hearing that?
Well, it's mostly women who say
Yeah.
that. I think gay guys understand that
Yes.
if you've been broken up with a boyfriend for 20 years, you've probably adjusted to new roles in a new relationship. And but women love that
They
idea that,
do.
yeah. And I met a woman the other day who was like, right off the bat, like, well, do you think you'll ever get back together? And I was like, I mean this with love, but like, are you crazy? Like, how do you see that happening? And then she was like, okay. Well, she's like, what about Jeff Lewis and Andy? Like, they'll end up together, right? I'm like, how do you
No.
think this works? How do you think that we've all been kind of working together since 2005, and I don't know if that would again be a miracle to look at someone you've worked with for 20 years and known to just be like, oh wow, there's something romantic. I don't know. I think that women like that idea that it's possible, and it is possible. It's just not likely, I guess.
Yeah. I can never see Jeff Lewis with either of you, actually. I don't think he would be I don't know.
I think different personality type. I mean, Andy and I, as much as we and we don't really argue, but as much as we discuss things from, if I hear him talking about something from one POV, I try to just say, well, there's also this to think about, because we're on the radio talking, but we really agree on 99.9% of everything, like everything. We kind of play it up for the radio because if you're listening, you want to hear both sides of something, but like really, that's why we broke up, because we were such good friends. We got along so well, but it just was more of a friendship than romance, I think, in the end.
And we'll be right back. Okay, and now back to the show. I love it when you guys get into like conversations where it feels like sometimes you don't even realize you're on the radio, where you're just having a conversation, and it makes it so good.
I think
I'm like, yeah, and you're talking about something that's like I relate to totally. Like, it's like, oh, that's the conversation me and my friends would have. And you start talking about, I don't know, Grinder or Sniffies or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh my God, like these guys, I think people forget that you're real people, like, and, it's kind of crazy how people.
I wish more gay people had, tuned in, because I think we are extremely real and going through real things that gay guys go through. And I think there's not a lot of that on mainstream platforms.
No.
Sirius is a big corporate brand. And if you look at what's also on Sirius, it's a lot of music. It's a lot of like Howard Stern, Megyn Kelly, things like this. And like you have one channel over here that is like every week I either have a gay person, a trans person, a person of color. They're all gay usually. If not gay, they're pretty close to it, or some kind of gay. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important. And I'm really proud of that, more so than anything else. I think in terms of my show, The John Hill Show, which is just me and guests, I think
your show's phenomenal. Like,
Thank you.
I'm not going to say it's better than your. I think it's just as good as your and Andy show together, because you have a whole different kind of approach where it feels like you are sitting down with that person and just like having a coffee with them and talking with them, and you make it feel so intimate, like you're there.
And we get people on the show who I'm truly interested in, and I like, and because I'm not in the like press junket wing of things, I don't have to have whoever is coming, whatever celebrity is coming in to talk about their book or talk about their new thing. I don't really care. I get people on here on my show who are interesting, have something unique to say, and I like to expose our listeners to different kinds of people instead of just the run-of-the-mill kind of celebrity that comes through to do press. These are like queer trans stand-up comedians and performers, and I think it's very cool.
Awesome. Let's talk about someone that we both interviewed, Benjamin Smith.
Oh yeah.
So from Boston as well. So I was following him on Instagram for a while, and then I was actually at the Anderson Cooper Andy Cohen show in Boston. And I'm sitting there with my friend Amy looking at my Instagram. I'm like, oh, Amy, do you know this guy, Benjamin Smith? He's a real, she goes, no. And the guy sitting behind me, who was gay, said, oh my God, I know him. And I put a comment on him and I got like 5,000 responses back to the comment I put on his thing. I'm like, I'm going to DM him and see if he'll come on my show. I did it. 2 hours later, he writes back, yeah, let's do it. And we did the show. It was, I didn't really know how to approach him because I'm like, is he, him? Like, how do I, like, I didn't want to insult him at all. And I wanted to know, like, why did you start wearing all this makeup? Like, you know, and he was so open and so easy to interview. And he was such a great person.
Yeah.
He's hysterical. He's a character.
He's a character. Yes. I kind of think of him as my, you know, Howard Stern had Tan Mom on a lot. Yes. And he's kind of like my Tan Mom, I think. Yeah, what a character. I just think the world of him. I think he's so unique and so special and so different and just like a one of a kind, obviously. And so we did the same thing. I had my producer, Sarah, reach out. She'd be like, hey, if you're ever, I mean, he's in Boston, he's close by. Like, why don't you come on the show? And he did. And I mean, he's everything you want it to be. He is built for reality TV if ever anyone ever was.
Oh, he's got to do something in reality TV.
He's the kind of person who, when he was leaving, I was like, you should have a camera crew on you now. Yeah. He was like unsettling in a good way. You know, he's a live wire, you know, and so he's not like a disarming person. He's a character, and reality show people aren't, you know, disarming. They're need to be followed. And I think a camera crew needs to follow him ASAP. He's totally a star.
Him and I are going to meet out one night, and
that's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot. And I feel like I wish I had a camera crew that night to kind of document it. So there's a guy named Reporter Matt who's in Boston.
Yes.
And I interviewed Reporter Matt also, and he interviewed Benjamin as well.
I saw that.
Me and Matt's like, can I come with you guys whenever you guys go out? And I'm like, yeah, come out. So I don't know, maybe Reporter Matt will actually get some footage of what the crazy night will be.
That would be great. I get the sense that when Benjamin goes out, it's a moment.
It's a moment, yeah. And especially in Boston's little kind of LGBTQ plus community, I think that probably everybody knows who he is at this point because it's
right. Well, that's what we were talking about on my show, and you know, he was talking about the Eagle, and he was joking around like, "Oh, I was mortified. They had their dicks out and stuff." And I've been getting, most people are like, "Yay, so glad that Benjamin is getting his flowers, and he's such a star." And then, but a few queens have chimed in. You have to take this down. This is so dangerous to our safe spaces. And people are calling the cops and they're raiding them. And I feel bad. I was on the fence like, well, maybe they're right. And then I watched it again. And then what I wanted them to know is it was part of a bigger, longer discussion. And myself and Marley, who were kind of co-hosting the hour, and then Benjamin came on. We are obsessed with the Eagle. We are fans of the Eagle. I go to the Eagle. I don't want it to change. And I certainly wasn't trying to expose anything. But he had said he went to the Eagle. So we're like, how was it? And he's like, I was mortified, but he's also this character. And it was funny that he was like, we don't have that kind of thing in Boston because you do. But you do though. Like there's dicks.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
There's gotta be. Like you can't have a huge city like that and like, I don't know. But I even said,
there are, but they're
Eagle in Boston.
It's just not like so open like it is in New York.
Right. But I felt kind of bad. But like I felt like, well, now I'm being policed by the gay community. And like here I am, a gay person, a maybe non-binary person, and a trans girl talking about the Eagle. Like we are not the people you should be worried about. We are promoting and celebrating, and we're not.
I didn't get that. I seen that clip. I didn't get like you were trying to.
Well, you know, the clip kind of blew up, and so I think. That is one thing about those clips. You know, I also edited the clip down so it would fit in the time range of Instagram. Yeah. So it wasn't the full conversation. And we both were kind of like, we love the Eagle, you know? And he was just being funny.
Yeah, I thought it was a great clip. And I think it just would make people want to watch the full interview. That's what I got
exactly.
Out of it, so.
Yeah.
When was kind of the first time where you felt like, wow, what I'm doing, like this is gonna work. Like you've got this talent for singing and songwriting and performing. And what was that moment where you're like, damn, this is really working? Because it's what you're doing is a dream for so many people, and they don't make it. Did you have that? Can you remember whenever you're like, this is it?
When I booked Hairspray, I was like, I had already done a Broadway tour, but an original Broadway cast, I was like, okay, I'm glad I pursued this. This is right. But in terms of what I'm doing now, I'm glad that you put it that way. It's a dream for a lot of people. I kind of, I don't know if it's being raised really religious or just being gay and having to, a lot of us feel like you have to work overtime to not be defective and you want to be normal and
Yeah,
great. We work real hard to feel like there's nothing wrong with us. We want to overachieve. It's a big gay
yeah,
thing. I don't know if it was that or what, but I never really talked to myself like that until like 5 years ago. I never was like, wow, you're really doing it. It was like, you can do better. You can do better, and I got to a place in my life where I think my career was kind of suffering because I wasn't giving myself any grace. I was always kind of punishing, like, you need to do better. Yes, you booked an original Broadway cast, but you are not the lead. So that's the next thing. Just kind of always putting pressure on myself. Like, oh, you want to work in TV? Well, you need to sell in a TV show, which I did. Like, so looking back, I now realize I have done a lot of things that a lot of people, it is their dream and they don't even get to do it once. My one goal was to be on Broadway. I did that. I wanted to write and produce TV. I did that. And
yeah,
now the radio, I somehow along the line kind of I've done this job for 10 years and I somehow, it, I didn't take it for granted. I always loved it. That's why I still do it. That's why I started doing it. But it now is the dream job. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of hoping it would turn into something great, and then it did. It took, a decade, but now nothing's that different. Just my attitude changed.
yeah. Maybe you had a realization like you are as amazing. Maybe you
I
realize that.
did. I think. And like I look around. Yeah. We as we get older, our paradigms all shift, and I think I assumed everyone sang, everyone wrote music, everyone acted, everyone was funny, everyone wrote. You know what I mean? And then when I realized, wow, most of the people I know either have boring jobs or they don't do anything creative, or
Yeah,
and I realized how lucky I was that since birth I've been singing, acting, performing, writing, creating things.
yeah,
And I realized that those are gifts in life. And why would I squander those? Why would I tell myself, well, you need to get a real job? This is not a real career. You need to think of that is absolute bullshit. And when I realized that, like 5 years ago, I was in my 40s, I was like, oh, like you're lucky. I'm lucky, even though I'm not a billionaire or a millionaire. Like I'm not rich. You know what I mean? But like once I realized I had the things in life that I just felt very lucky, and I started
yeah,
focusing on those things. And then all of a sudden my job became, because I was always kind of like, well, it's, I'm doing the show with Andy, but I should be doing like he does. He has a TV show at night or morning and a radio show in the morning. I should have a
yeah,
TV show and I should go be in a movie. Like, and once I realized, all that other stuff will come, just
yeah.
kind of like give yourself a break. I think it is a dream job. I love it.
And if people have not heard you sing, they should go and Google you or go to YouTube. You have an amazing
Thank
voice,
you. Thank you
and
so
it is
much.
like I haven't seen you perform in person. I've watched lots of videos you and I will be in P Town or wherever you perform
Yeah,
if you're in
come.
New York City or
Boston was actually the best audience I ever had, was in Boston at the City
really,
Winery 2 Octobers ago. I was doing my little tour. I was doing my solo show, and I will never forget that audience. I felt like Beyonce.
really. I love
They
that.
were so receptive and so sweet, and they all stayed after. It was a huge, like an hour after we all had like a meet and greet. It was just the best. It was crazy. I kept saying to them, I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? This is so crazy. This is so good.
Yeah. Um, how has kind of becoming sober, like you talk about that, it seems like it's completely give you a 180 in your life. And
Yeah.
do you tell me a little bit about that and how that's kind of changed your projection of life?
Oh man. Yeah. I feel like an alien invaded my body when I got sober. I feel like I walked through life totally different because for 20 years, there wasn't a day that went by that I wasn't stoned or high or drunk,
Yeah.
and I was a late bloomer. I never smoked pot or drank even all through high school or college. It kind of happened later.
Wow.
And I realized I didn't have tools to cope with life. I never really learned, my parents they didn't approve of me being gay. And so I think they kind of once I was gay, once they knew,
Yeah.
I think they kind of withheld any like further parenting. They were kind of like, okay, well, if this is your choice, you're on your own. I love them. It's fine. They've, my dad died, but like they kind of figured it out. But I think, that I was 19 when I came out. And I think by the time I turned 25, I felt on my own, and I felt like, wow, I don't have like, who are my role models that have taught me how to deal with rejection, pain, rage, sadness, breakup, heartache, joy? Nothing. I didn't have anybody. I just didn't know how to deal with life. And I was an adult and I was going through big things, career changes, boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I just started smoking a ton of pot. And then that just grew into, well, this is easy. If I have a problem, I'll just escape my problems and get stoned. And then that just got super out of hand. And so for 20 years, I was just really like, there was not one day, it's 18 years, I guess, but there was not one day I was not some sort of altered. And it just destroyed my spirit. It destroyed my confidence. It destroyed my personality. I wasn't really me. I didn't really know who I was. I hated the person I was. So when I got rid of that stuff and did get sober and started being in recovery, in like true recovery, not just like, well, I'm not going to drink, I'm going to smoke pot. Like really in 2021, everything stopped and I totally changed my life. Everything changed and everything got good. Everything just fell into place finally. Cause I was like, are you going to be a 50-year-old drug addict? Is that what you want to do? Is that who you're going to be? I was 43. It's like, is that cute? Is that a cute look? To like not be able to get out of bed for a few days because you're so like, it's just messy, ugly. It's not who I wanted to be. And it's who I knew I was not deep down. And I knew there was someone else in here. And I just wanted to be okay. I just wanted to have a normal life, like normal problems, like feed the dog, go on a podcast, walk down the street. I didn't want to have everything either so chaotic or so great. I just kind of wanted a normal, quote unquote, normal existence and experience life as me.
Yeah. And is your mom, has she acknowledged how proud she is of you and like your accomplishments?
Yes. Yeah, totally. I think it's hard for her because, well, no, it's not hard for her. She has always been, I think, my biggest number one fan. She roots for me. She loves me. I think the gay thing was just really hard because she goes to a church that taught her since birth that that's not acceptable. So I don't blame her personally for struggling with it for a long time. I think that she is a by the book Christian. That's what she does. And I can't, and putting myself in her shoes, I remember hearing the sermons as a kid. They were like, if God puts us through tests. If your only son comes to you and wants you to compromise your belief, that's a test. Don't do it. Yeah. So when the time came for them to be like, oh shit, maybe we were taught something that's not adding up here. We love our son. He's great. He has no problems. He's gay. Maybe we were wrong. That doesn't exist. It's like, oh, we're prepared for this? Absolutely not. You're going to go to hell if you don't change. Yeah. So I think I kind of see them as victims of the church as well, even though they love it.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a Southern Baptist.
Yeah. Pretty much the same.
Upbringing. And when I grew up in Miami. Well, I lived in Illinois till I was 7, where my grandfather was the religious person. Yeah. And then when we moved to Miami, my dad's like, do you want to go to church anymore? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I don't like any of it. And he's like, okay, then don't go. So I feel like I got a chance to escape it, but I could never tell, my grandparents or anybody that I was gay. When I told my father, even when I think I was like 21 or 22, he didn't like talk to me for 6 months because of how he was raised. He didn't, he thought it was horrible, like he's like, I'm so embarrassed and how my friends are going to know and all this. And And then like 6 months later,
I get that. As a parent, they were younger than I am now, and
yeah,
they don't. I cannot imagine being a parent. I do not have the strength. I don't know if I'd be able to do it.
yeah, I am same. And yeah, so he like got on board, and then he was like, "All right, great, I love it." And then my brother came out a couple of years later. And,
really?
yeah,
wow,
and I told
gays.
2 gays, they hit the jackpot. So
Yeah.
and my brother called me and said he was drinking and called me and said, I got to tell you something. I'm gay. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, we all have known for years, and you're
Yeah.
welcome, because I already did the hard part for you with our parents. So,
Yeah, bless them.
and we'll be right back. Okay, now back to the show. Who have you not interviewed that you would love to interview? Is there like, you have like a guest that's like top of your list?
I would like to have Terrence O'Connor on the show.
Awesome.
Do you know who Terrence is?
Yes, I do know he is.
I think he's so hot and so funny and so smart. Let's see. Miss Mamshi is coming on soon. She is a dream guest.
Okay.
Do you know Miss Mamshi?
No.
Look her up. You've probably seen her clips.
I think, maybe. I feel like I've seen her on Instagram, maybe.
You definitely have. Those are the kind of people that I like, people from weird corners of the internet. Charlie XCX is a dream guest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She was supposed to be on our show last week, and then the storm hit and prevented that.
Like, what about like a Madonna or Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga's been on our show.
Okay.
And
no, but like for your show,
oh my God, we're not. She would never. Yes, absolutely. Gaga. I had my my biggest star growing up. I was the biggest fan of Tori Amos, and she's been on my show twice. So I've gotten to interview a lot of people that I truly, truly love. But I'm like a '90s alternative queen, like Tracy Chapman and Paula Cole.
Oh God, I would love to interview Tracy Chapman.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, I am a little bit older than, like when I was in high school, the closest thing to pop music that was popular was Alanis Morissette. I was coming out of the grunge era. Nirvana came out when I was in 8th grade, and that was kind of the early high school. And when I was in college, then Britney, Christina kind of came out. And by that point I was like, what is this shit? This is never going to take off. So it took me a while to kind of come around to traditional pop music.
Yeah.
I don't know who, I'm trying to think who else. I'm so bad with celebrities. Andy is so good with them. And anytime anybody asks me about that, like, who's your biggest like celebrity crush? I'm like, my mind goes blank and I can't think of anybody.
I know somebody who I would love to see you with as a boyfriend, but he's married. Cheyenne Jackson.
Oh yeah. Well, I just talked to him. One of my very good friends. One of my closest friends. I love him.
I think you guys would be so cute together.
Yeah, we get along real well as sisters.
Yeah,
yeah.
But do you have a celebrity crush, or is there somebody that you've kind of interviewed other than Benjamin Smith that you would like to date?
That's a good question. I would say Terrence O'Connor again, but I also that guy we had this gay farmer on who was really hot, and I felt a little spark there. From the show June Farms. He owns a farm in upstate New York. Yeah, look him up. He's really hot.
Okay, June Farms. I'll write it down. Have you ever hooked up with one of your guests?
Let me think. I'm gonna go through 10 years of doing this. Wow. Hold on. I'm thinking on the fly. There's someone I dated kind of who came on a couple of times. It's coming to me. I think I have. I'm sure I have, but I think it was
over 10 years. I feel like you had to have had at least one.
Not in the sense that we did the show and then like immediately had sex.
Yeah.
I think there might have been a hookup. It'll come to me.
What are you thinking about you want to do? Like, obviously you have an amazing radio career. You're an amazing singer, songwriter, performer. What do you want to be doing in 5 or 10 years from now?
Writing books and selling.
Really?
Writing books, writing movies, writing TV shows, and selling those things. And then maybe acting in plays. But those are the next big goals is writing and selling books.
You're in the right city for all that. So
I know. That's why I came back.
Yeah. One more question, two more questions. One, what is your skincare routine? You have like flawless skin. Like, what are you doing to your skin to have that great of skin?
Thank you very much. This is post-gym sweat skin, so there's that.
Okay.
But I have to say, I had 3 procedures back to back. I had a chemical peel, I had a salmon sperm facial, and a CO2 laser all in the span of a month, just because of scheduling. And so which is something you shouldn't do. You're supposed to space those things out, but I had to do them kind of quickly. And I think that is overdoing it, but that would be the recent thing. But I wash
your skin's
my
always
face.
good. It's not just within the last month. It's like always.
Thank you. I do get a lot of spray tans, which evens you out. I use Victoria Beckham cleanser. I use the Ordinary moisturizer. I use the Charlotte Tilbury sunscreen 50. And then, I overly moisturize. And just
same.
This face is
I'm a
wet.
skincare junkie. I love it.
Me too. What's your moisturizer?
I have Shiseido. I've done La Mer. Which I'm not doing again. It's like $400
It's
for
so
a small.
expensive.
It's so expensive. It's just not worth it.
I also do my red light mask every day.
Me too. Every day.
Minutes. Yeah.
Same. I do it.
I think it works.
I do it for 10.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a couple of months. There's a guy named Chris Gibson who I've interviewed, and he has a huge YouTube channel, skincare guy.
Great.
I've had him on twice. And he really, he says something, and I go and I'll buy it. And 95% of the time, I love what he's recommending.
What's his name?
Chris Gibson.
Chris Gibson. I'm going to track him down. Okay.
I'll email you his LinkedIn, and his episode coming out, because I just did a second one with him last week, and it's getting ready to come out. And he's turning 62 in March, and he looks like he's like 40 maybe.
Wow. If I wasn't working in entertainment, I would work in the beauty industry. I'm obsessed. It's what I do in my free time, try out different shit.
I have drawers and drawers in my bathroom full of shit, and I'm just like, is it going to expire? So I have to send it to friends because
ultimately it's a waste. I don't think we need all this stuff. And when you really talk to people who are insiders, it comes down to sunscreen and water. So there you go. But then on top of that, I started using this thing that Molly Sims has a line of beauty called YSE, pronounced Wise. Highly recommend this Skin Glow 30 SPF primer.
I'm writing it down right now.
It's probably trash, you know what I mean? But you're gonna like it.
I'm gonna do it. I'll try. I try everything. So
YSE Skin Glow, I believe it's called 30 SPF primer. You're gonna love it. It's basically tinted serum. It's great. It's great.
All right, I'm down for it. My last question is, I'm always thinking about who do I want to interview. You are definitely one of the top 5 people that
is so nice of you. Thank you.
And who do you think I would love to interview Bridget Everett, people like that. I love Bridget Everett. And I've seen her perform so many times at Joe's Pub, and she's actually coming to Boston April 10th. I'm going to go see her there. Anybody else that you think is so that you're I should try to go for?
Yes.
That's realistic for my size of podcast,
Well, I think you could get Bridget.
Yeah.
I'll
send her a DM. Yeah. Have I reached out? I don't know. I think I'll have to go back and look. I've reached out to some people, and I get a response once in a while.
I think you can get Bridget. I think she would love it, especially if she's coming to Boston. Reach out and say, hey, do you want to promote your show? Come on.
Yeah, good idea.
2 weeks before or something, and sell tickets. Say, I'm in the Boston area. I'm coming to your show. Come on my podcast. Let's get the word out. That's what I would do for her. You might. I love Dakota Wright. Do you know Dakota?
No.
He has a husband, and they go to Cracker Barrel and fast food restaurants.
Oh yes, I do know him.
He was just on my show last week. Lovely. He would absolutely do your show, and he's such a wonderful person to talk to.
Yes,
definitely get him on. Delta Work is my all-time favorite guest that I've ever had. I don't know if she does much in terms of podcasts. I don't know if she would do it because she doesn't you really got to pay her $1 million to even leave the house.
Yeah.
But that's one. Luscious Massacre was a big one for me. I really loved her.
Yeah.
Lisa Traeger. Do you know Lisa? Reach out to her.
Okay, yeah, I know the name.
She's a stand-up, and she's probably touring Boston sometime soon.
Awesome.
Loved her.
Those are great ideas.
Yeah, look up Lisa Traeger. And Jake Cornell.
Leah Delory, I would like to interview.
Write down Jake Cornell.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the that's what I need. Sometimes I get like tuned in on certain things, and I need like that kind of inspiration or kind of just brainstorming because
I get it.
John, this is really my last question. Do you ever kind of step back and take a moment and just think about all of the joy that you have given people and all the entertainment and just how people look forward to hearing you every day on the radio, and whenever you do a show, how people are going to these shows and they plan trips to come see you? Like, does that ever kind of like, do you ever reflect on all of those amazing things that you're giving people, and especially a world today, whenever it's kind of so fucked up in this world, but you're kind of giving that hour of joy every day on the radio, plus your other show you have, your John Hill show, you're giving that hour of joy. And do you just all the amazing things that you're giving people, and they look forward to hearing you and seeing you and being entertained by you. Do you reflect on that ever?
Yes, all the time. And I think
I love that.
Yeah, I like I said earlier, I always would tell myself, oh, well, yeah, you went and did that show, but nobody liked it. Or you did that show and nobody, and it wasn't as good as it could have been. Like, but when I look back at my life, starting performing at 9, I have spent my entire life entertaining for whoever will watch. And that means 5 shows a day at Six Flags, performing at Disneyland, performing on Broadway all those years, producing television for people to watch and be entertained by, and doing my shows beyond the radio. I have spent my life entertaining. For a long time, I would tell myself, well, but you suck. You're not really as good as you think, and you could be better. So, but in spite of all of that, I have spent my entire life entertaining in some form or fashion. And for a long time I thought, well, this is like, you're egotistical and you're just trying to get attention, whatever. I think of performance as service. I think it is and it's rare. And I think in these internet times when everything is kind of entertainment, either on the news or on the phone, being up on stage and being live on the radio is so rare and so special. And I'm glad that I get to do it. And it means a lot to me. I don't really focus on, oh, people loved that, or they, thank God I was here to entertain. But I just think about myself like, you know what? You showed up to make someone else's day entertain, to entertain someone, whether they laughed or what. You're there to entertain. And I think that is like such a gift. And I'm grateful that it's what I am here to do.
Awesome. Well, I hope my listeners, there's a lot of gay men that listen to my show. So if you don't have a subscription to SiriusXM, it's worth it just to listen to John and Andy. Because you guys, I try to schedule my meetings, so I have that 10 to 11 o'clock hour open, and then also for your show. So
thank you so much, Zach. I really appreciate it.
Thank you are so amazing, and I'm so, again, grateful that you came on my show, and I got a chance to talk with you. So thank you so much.
I'm so happy to.
If you aren't following John on Instagram and Threads, I will put all those links in the description of this video or podcast. And he does some great content. There's some great pictures of John that he posted in the summer of himself too. So look for those as well. So SiriusXM, Radio Andy 102. Go listen to John, the John Hill Show. He has really great guests, and he's on every day also with Andy between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern time. So thanks again for being on, John. You're amazing.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you so much.
If you think somebody would like to hear this episode of John, be sure to forward to them and subscribe to the podcast. And thanks everybody for listening.